right now.
Okay,
The WILLOW announcement got me thinking, and I went digging on the internet, and I found this really interesting article from Esquire.com. The 80s movies. Now, at the time, so this is interesting, right? It's a 2015 article. So the article title was "These 80s Movies That Need to Be Rebooted," right? Now I'm gonna tweak that a little bit because now we live in 2020 in the age of streaming. These 80s movies that need to be a streaming series, rebooted as a streaming series, and I pulled the ones that are mostly related to comic book and sci-fi, which is kind of the wheelhouse that we are in. And this is from the list: The Abyss, 1989. James Cameron will spend the next half decade of his life shooting Avatar sequels, meaning he'll never return to the depths of the abyss, but that shouldn't stop one of its successors. Alien Nation was a movie in 1988, and then it was turned into a middling 90s television show. But they recommended
there's nothing middling about a critically acclaimed show, but okay.
Well, ratings wise was not.
Yes,
just like we are a critically acclaimed podcast, but we're a middling podcast, so it's different. Flash Gordon, they did the movie in 1980, and they've done a TV series before, but have it returned. Like, why not? Guardians of the Galaxy was a hit.
It made a TV show for Flash Gordon.
A streaming show, though. Streaming. Not a traditional TV series. I know Flash Gordon was a TV series like way back. I get it. Like, I get it. But streaming.
What should the streaming show series of Flash Gordon be about then?
It should be about Flash Gordon.
All right. I mean, should it be about a sequel to the movie, or should it be about the traditional retelling of the story of Flash Gordon, or should it be a rehash of the serials? I mean, elaborate on.
To be fair, I was never a fan of Flash Gordon, so I couldn't tell you. These are just ideas that popped up in the article, and I thought that's related to what we do. Howard the Duck, which is I don't want to say an underrated movie because I think it's like a cult hit, right? Like it's a cult movie now at this point. I loved Howard the Duck when I was a kid. I don't know. I had no problems with Howard the Duck. Were you a Howard the Duck fan?
No.
It's
a George Lucas movie, though.
I know. That's why I'm shocked. Generally, you bow at the altar of Lucas.
No, I do not bow at the altar of Lucas. Thank you. Whatever. It had its place.
Yeah.
In the pantheon of stuff that I used to like, but then I grew up and I watched it again, and I was like, "Really, isn't that good?"
That's a good point. Actually, I have not rewatched it since then. So you're right. Maybe if I don't want to rewatch it. Maybe I don't. I don't know. Now you got me thinking.
You should be always thinking. No, I shouldn't. It shouldn't take me to get you thinking. You should
about Howard the Duck.
You should be thinking about everything. You're asking questions. You should be thinking about. You're not thinking about the questions you're asking me right now. You're just asking
thinking about whether or not I should rewatch Howard the Duck or not.
That wasn't the question. Rewatch The Abyss. See if there's a story there.
Yeah. No, I
don't think there is.
If you in the abyss at that point,
if you think it needs to be a TV show, I don't think so, my friend.
All right, last three, and then I'm going to tell you the one movie that wasn't on this list that needs to be remade immediately into a streaming series or reboot. I don't care how they do it. Krull from 1983.
Yeah.
I never seen it, so I couldn't tell you. Is that good? It says a movie that prioritizes imagery, cyclopses, and laser weapons over coherency.
It's not a very good endorsement, then.
Yeah.
Look, I love Krull. I think it's a great
adventure.
I don't think it needs a sequel. I don't think we need to. Look, they already tried that with Dark Crystal.
That's right.
And obviously that didn't work too well.
Not so good. And I was going to say for the
people trying to build their own mythology, and
right. Flash Gordon had Lost in Space, and that did not do well either. So.
Well, Lost in Space at least gets 3 seasons.
Yeah. It's not a boys like or Stranger Things like hit. The Last Starfighter. Come on. We've got 9 Star Wars, but we've never seen a Starfighter sequel. That one I remember fondly as a kid. I would love to see a Last Starfighter streaming series. I think that might be like if I had
as long as it's a sequel. If they remake it, no. But if it's a sequel, then yes. I'm not interested in seeing it rehashed.
A continuation. A continuation would make a lot of sense. I think out of everything I've just said, this tops my list until I get to not the next one, but the one after. for ones that I want to see. Starman, 1984. Was that that wasn't based off the DC comic though, right?
No,
No, I didn't think
it's a
so.
John Carpenter movie.
Yeah,
with Jeff Bridges comes
Yeah.
to the planet, and then he leaves because his time here wasn't a pleasant one.
it was
So
brief
he
and
bails.
and memorable.
But there was a TV show of a follow up of the girl. She had a baby, and he comes back and to be with his son. And I don't know. I never watched it.
Let me ask you a question. Actually, I already know the
Okay.
answer to this because I know you have not. You couldn't seem to remember the next movie that I'm going to tell you. But have you seen like every '80s movie?
No.
Like, is there a movie in the '80s that you haven't seen?
No, there's plenty of movies I haven't seen, which I discover every night on the other podcasts that I do. There's plenty of stuff that I haven't seen. But we are talking about this. I do feel it is important for us to know what we're talking about when we're talking about this stuff.
Look,
right?
I mean, like Krull, I'm like, I don't even know what the hell that is. The Abyss, I'm like, yeah, that.
But
I
that's
passed on
you
that in
though. You should
1989.
watch this stuff. If you want to be in the business of talking about all this stuff, you should partake in it from now. And all right,
I fake it pretty well.
No, you don't.
All right, this is the one that I think this tops my list. The next one I'm going to say. So, Last Starfighter is runner up. Howard the Duck comes in third on my list for things I would like to see. Although they're going to do something with Howard the Duck anyway, but I think a Disney Plus series for Howard Duck just makes total sense, right? I mean, it'd be stupid not to. The Explorers from 1985, Ethan Hawke, River Phoenix. Now, you have actually not seen this movie.
Yeah, which kind of negates you asking me that.
I know. Well, I knew the answer to it even when I asked you, but it seemed like you had seen everything until in our pre-production meeting, you said you'd never seen this. It is literally the ultimate 10-year-old boy wish fulfillment movie. These three kids, they rummage around in a junkyard. One of them is super smart. I think it's either Ethan Hawke or River Phoenix. I can't remember which, because I mean they're little kids, so I didn't really even associate them with actual actors until much later. And they build a spaceship because they get a transmission from somewhere in space, and they build a spaceship and they literally fly off and meet these alien creatures who turn out to be cute and cuddly alien creatures. It's like they end up meeting another like alien child. But it is one of those things, like if I will show this to my son. I could show this to my son now, and he would want to literally go into the backyard and pull together as much junk as he can to build his own spaceship. Like, it was that kind of like, I was telling you in the pre-production meeting, just even mentioning the Explorers like made my cheekbones kind of rise, because I was like, ah. So that's my number one. I am going to give you a homework assignment. Actually, I don't even know if I want to. I don't even know if I want to. I've now hyped this movie up enough that I feel like it cannot possibly meet your expectations, especially because you are not a 10-year-old boy. I've observed. I'm a very observant fellow.
You figured that out, yeah,
and,
all by yourself. You didn't even ask me.
The facial hair alone kind of gives it away.
I could be very
plus, I've known you
hormonally
for more than 10 years, so I know you've been alive for more than 10 years.
Yeah, that'd be a neat trick if I was younger than the time that you've known me.
I don't want to watch. I'm gonna say we should retro review The Explorers next week.
Fine. All right.
And
you got to watch Krull.
Hang on. Oof.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, all right. Let's say we won't make any promises as to what we're going to do next week, only because we have not. No, we have not identified where we can watch these movies. Right? Like, I don't want to watch a movie I got to pay $5 to see. I just want to see it on a streaming service. So we're gonna look this up, and if it's available,
we'll do that during the break. Do that during the break.
When we come back, well, first of all, let us know your 80s movies you'd like to see turned into a streaming series. My number one is The Explorers. My number two is Last Starfighter. My number three is Howard the Duck. Which one is yours now, Hassan? Before we go to break.
No, my number one was Last Starfighter. I didn't care for any of the others to be rebooted.
Okay, so it's Last Starfighter or bust.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to see that. All right, you tell us what you think, and when we come back, We're going to do a trailer, truth or trash, Mandalorian Season 2 special look that debuted on Monday Night Football just this past week.